Hey guys, I am super excited for my next backpacking trip coming up in a few days. I'm especially excited because my little sister April will be joining me this time, so I won't be going solo for a change. It will be April's first time backpacking. Together, she and I decided on Cumberland Island as our destination, and this place looks super cool. It's the largest and southernmost barrier island of Georgia with 17 miles of secluded beaches and 9,800 acres of wilderness lands in addition to historic landmarks and ruins. There are no bears on the island, but we may get to see alligators, sea turtles, and even wild horses. Cumberland Island is maintained and protected by the U.S. National Park Service. We made primitive camping reservations and applied for backcountry permits through Reserve America, and we'll get to the island by ferry from St. Mary's, Georgia. I'll be sure to drop some links in the video description below if you'd like to learn more about Cumberland Island. I'll also put timestamps in the video description for the different topics of this video. We're going to cover the budget gear my sister is using to try out backpacking, the changes I've made to my gear for this trip, and the food we'll be taking. I really tried to do a better job with the food this time. So we'll start with the gear my sister April will be carrying. As I mentioned, this is April's first time backpacking, and she is much more reasonable than I am, so she didn't spend a fortune on gear before she even knows if she likes backpacking. So she's taking kind of the bare minimum. The only larger purchase she had to make was her quilt, and she went with a good budget option on Amazon. All her other big 3 items are borrowed, and the rest were relatively small purchases or things from home she can make do with. For shelter, April's using an Ozark Trail pup tent that's been floating around in our family for several years. None of us can remember for sure, but I think this is the little tent I paid $25 for at Walmart back in high school. It weighs a little over 3 pounds and packs down pretty small. Her sleeping pad is my first sleeping pad that I bought a couple years ago on Amazon. They're still available at about $40, and it worked well enough for me the few times I used it. It weighs 14.5 ounces and packs down to the size of a water bottle. April did splurge on a backpacking pillow as well. It's the same one I recently switched to, the Thermarest compressible pillow in a size small. We purchased her quilt from Amazon as well. It's the One Tigress Featherlight, and it weighs 13.5 ounces and packs down to be a little larger than a 1-gallon milk jug. It has a sewn foot box and a strap system, and it's rated as a 40-degree quilt. For her pack, April was able to borrow one from her sister-in-law who used it for backpacking around Europe a few years back. The pack currently costs $50 on Amazon. It's a Wacing 55-liter internal frame pack and weighs 2 pounds 14 ounces. April is borrowing my mom's trekking poles, which used to be mine before I switched to the Locust Gear poles to save some weight. These are Black Diamond Women's Trail Ergo Cork poles, and I love these poles. They're super comfortable in your hands and just feel really strong. They're currently $130 on Black Diamond's website. For a cook system, we are going to share mine. The only items April is bringing for herself are a collapsible mug, the same one I use from Sea to Summit, and a regular spoon from home. We'll also share my water filter. We're splitting the food weight, but we'll hang everything in my bear bag at night. For clothing and shoes, April's using her regular workout clothes from home and her regular tennis shoes. Nothing cotton. The only things she bought new are some darn tough socks, a rain poncho, and mosquito head net. We'll share my first aid and repair kits and some of the hygiene items like baby powder, toothpaste, sunscreen, hairbrush, etc. She'll have her own bathroom bag, of course, with toilet paper and baby wipes, but we'll have to pass my trowel back and forth. We plan to stick pretty close together, so we'll be fine with the one in-reach device between the two of us. April will carry her own 10,000 milliamp hour Anchor charger, and I'll still have my 20,000 milliamp hour charger. She's taking a headlamp from Home Depot that we just had around. It's not technically for backpacking or camping, but it will work just the same. Those are the highlights for April's gear. I'll put links to some of her gear in the video description below. I think we've come up with a great budget-friendly gear list and plan that will allow her to try backpacking, and I'm super excited to have her with me for this trip. As for me, I'm only making a couple changes to my gear before this trip. To see my full gear list, check out the lighter pack link in the video description below. I'll put links for the new items in the description as well. I've been wanting to try cowboy camping, so I settled on a lightweight system to make that possible. I went with a polycro ground sheet from 6 Moon Designs and attached anchor tabs to each corner so I can stake it out at night. This makes for a super light and functional system. If the weather is decent and it's not too buggy, I'm hoping to try it out on this trip. I also purchased some extra cording so I can rig up a small clothesline in my tent. On my last trip, my hiking clothes stayed damp, which isn't the end of the world, but it would be nice to at least have a dry shirt in the morning. Then there are just a couple small things I added. I bought some crew-length socks for hiking to help prevent irritation and bug bites around my ankles. I'm also carrying a large bottle of spray sunscreen considering the location of this trip. I'm taking some light load towels. I actually used these on my last trip but forgot to point it out. I like to cut them in half and use it as a sweat rag during the day, then to wipe down with at night and wash the dishes. Then I put the old one away in my pack and use a clean one the next day. Well, that's it for gear, and last but not least is food. If you watched the video from my last backpacking trip on the Pine Mountain Trail, you'll know that one of my big takeaways is that I have to do better with food. I need things that are actually appetizing and that I'll actually want to eat out there. So I've been researching options for backpacking food, and hopefully I have a better plan this time. For breakfast, we have instant oatmeal one morning. I'm bringing some powdered milk to make it creamier. We'll also have one fresh apple and some walnuts to add to it. For the 2 other mornings, we have instant grits and powdered eggs. We're packing for 4 lunches on this trip. We're taking tortillas and bagels with salami and hard cheese, as well as peanut butter and jelly. For dinner on the 3 nights, we have ramen noodles, Idahoan instant mashed potatoes, and stovetop stuffing. We also have a Mountain House biscuit and gravy meal to try. We're taking some snacks and extras as well to allow us to mix it up. We probably have way too many, but part of the goal here is to experiment and see what works. So we have cereal and powdered milk, tortilla chips, a couple fresh avocados and guacamole seasoning, some Sour Patch Kids, Cheez-Its, and candy bars. We're also taking some mayonnaise packets and salt and pepper. For coffee this time, I'm keeping it simple and just using Folgers Instant with powdered creamer and sugar on the side. Well, that sums it up. Wish April and I luck on our upcoming trip to Cumberland Island. I think it's going to be beautiful and we'll have a great time. I'm excited to share it with you guys when we get back. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. If you have any tips for us or other thoughts, leave a comment below. Happy trails, guys.